Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now I haven't created a video like this for a while. I've been tending to work with patrons in email format and creating small videos for them to view. Now I'm finding a bit more time. I'm looking to create dedicated videos with showing the patron question and showing the solution and making that available for everybody. So we're going to start off with this question here. The patron wants to create assembly and then create additional features like a pocket or a hole based off that assembly. So what I'm going to do is start with the assembly first. And come over to the Assembly Workbench. We'll create a new document and we'll create a new assembly. So let's import the parts by using the Insert Component button. And now it's going to ask us for the files. Now we probably need to save this first. Let's just open a file. Let's bring in the holder and add the holder. It's going to ask me to save the document, so let's save it. I'm just going to use the words demo. This is asking me for a grounded part. Let's hit yes. Let's just ground it. I can change it later. Wanted to. Let's flip it around the right way. So it's around this way, I believe. Let's hit OK. So we've got our first grounded part. While I was there, I should have imported the other part. So let's open a file and import the rod. And also open the file and import the cross bolt as well. So we've opened all of those. Now I might rename these in a moment because I've just added the body again. So that's right click that to remove it. And we want the rod and the cross bolt. Let's hit OK and let's pull these out of the way. The feature in question is this groove here. So if we look, and let's make sure I've got this around the right way. It should be going down this way with this coming out the side here. Okay, let's flip it around this way and move this out of the way. I'm going to attach these. Now we have to be careful when we do this because we're going to project this hole onto here and remove this pocket. So we're lining them up. To do that, we must use something like a fixed joint. It needs to be fixed down, so we can't add a simulation assembly because once a part moves, then the holes become unlined, and if any of the operations are dependent on where those holes are, then we've moved a part and our operation will fail. Our operation will be in a different place. For example, if I took this one here, let's say we used a sliding joint. A sliding joint is that we can slide. We look at the blue z-axis there, and if we come in, you can see the blue z-axis that's going to match up with is going to be that one. If I hit OK, what we've got is a sliding joint. Now if you think, if we're creating a projection of this hole to make sure it lines up properly through there, then if it's a sliding joint and we've projected the hole, if we move it, then our hole is going to go through here instead. So we need to make these fixed. So let's go back to our joints. Got grounded, we've got the slider. If I hit the spacebar on that, or hit the spacebar again and just try to slide that, you can see, cast your eyes up to the left hand side, see the joint become visible. We get an idea of what joint to use. So this one here, let's press the spacebar, I can see it in there. Let's change that joint. And drop this down and pick fixed and hit OK. So that's fixed it, but we need to add some offset. Get it into the right position. You can see with the hole, it's not yet lined up. So we need to add some more pocket into here. Let's hit OK. And that's just flipped it around, so that's confusing. Okay, we're all good there. So that's in place. I'm just going to leave the rod there. It's grounded. This shouldn't move. So we're all good. I'm just going to hide the fixed and the grounded joint. Press the spacebar on both those. So if I wanted to edit the pocket on this element here and project this hole onto it, how do I do that? Well, because we've got it in fixed assembly, we can use subshape binders. There's a link between the parts we've imported and the assembly itself. Let's find the body that we want. Now this is where I should have renamed these. This one's the cam bolt. This one's the rod. And our last one is the holder. So we want the cam bolt. I'm going to double click on that. I'm in the part design workbench now. You notice that everything is still available. The active body is the cam bolt, and that's important because when I take this edge and use the subshape binder, we've bound that edge, and then if I come back and have a look at the cam bolt, you can see the binder is actually inside the cam bolt. Now these are links to the original parts, so the original files, and if we look, I believe it's the cross bolt test. There we go. In here, we have a binder. So we've bound from the assembly into the original part. Now we have to be careful here because we can get something called a dependency cycle. So I must be careful not to bind anything from the cross bolt, or what I've called it there, the cam bolt, back inside the assembly. So I have to be careful of that. So that's edit the cam bolt now. If we click on the cam bolt, it tells us the linked object. This one here, the body. If I click on that, it jumps to the body. So we can see it's this document. These are documents. So we've got the demo. And now we're looking at this document. And you can see, well, the body inside isn't active because it's a closed document. You look down to the bottom, there's no tab here. Let's double click on that body. Now we're editing the cross bolt, or the cam bolt as I called it. Let's bring this around and have a look to see what we've got. So I can see from the front, I've got to make some amendments with this. So that's fine. The pocket, if we look down, we have the pocket in here. So we can amend that, the sketch within. I'll double click that sketch and adjust this sketch. So bring this around and we see this binder here. We use the create external geometry and we import the edge of the binder. And now I can adjust the sketch within. I can delete these constraints and take this center point and this one, make those coincident. And I've got over constrained now. That's because I've got this one here. I can delete that one as well. And then take this one and the imported geometry and make those equal. So that's one thing we can do. We've got fully constrained now. That will pocket all the way through. I'm just going to hit Control Z a couple of times to bring back the constraints. So it's fully constrained now. Another way of doing this, if I wanted to keep these constraints, is use reference constraints. Let's bring these in a bit so we can see them. And we've got one more down here. Double click on the constraint. We've got reference, select that and hit OK. You notice now it's not fully constrained. That's because I can move this now and look at our reference constraint. Do the same with all the others. This is fully mobile and our constraints show whereabouts it is in 2D space. So I'll take the center point and this one, coincident, and take the outside and the imported geometry and make those equal. We've still got these constraints, but we've got a fully constrained sketch. If that shape binder got deleted now, I can quickly come in here and make these normal by double clicking on them, unchecking reference, and then these will be still constrained. Let's hit close. So the pocket has been created, but we didn't have to actually create that sketch in the first place. We could have just pocketed the binder all the way through here, just using the pocket and through all rather than sketching it. So there are a number of ways of doing that. But now if I go back to the assembly, what we should have, let's just click on that binder and press the spacebar because we don't need to see it. We should see that the cam bolt or the cross bolt is fixed in there. And if we look down, we've got a nice clean path for the rod to go through. So let's make sure that the assembly, double click on that, is visible. Click the rod, control click the inner part of that face, and we need a slider joint, I believe, maybe round the wrong way. If so, we can use the flip. I believe that's right, and okay. So that slides through there. I haven't fixed it because I don't believe I need to make constraints against the rod. So as you can see from the diagram, there is this fixing here, which can be tightened, pulling the bolt this way, so locking this rod into place. So there's another workflow that we can follow that can be quicker and more simpler than using an assembly workbench. And that's still using the subshape binder, but instead using the draft workbench. For this, I'm just going to open two files. We've got the cross bolt, and we want to do exactly the same thing. We also need to open the holder. Let's go back to the cross bolt and make sure the body is active. Now if I look at the holder using the tabs down the bottom, look at the model, I want to select the body. So we've selected the body, that's come back in to the cross bolt, and make sure that straight away we select the subshape binder. So we're bypassing the need of creating a new file and a new assembly and pulling in the body as a subshape binder from the holder. I want to place this holder in the right place. As you can see, it's not in the right place at the moment. So I can right click and transform this. Now you notice that I'm transforming the holder and not the body, but I don't want to eyeball this into place. That's just okay. So transform is best to get it basically into the vicinity of the object that you want to cut through. Once it's in that vicinity, that's come over the draft workbench. Now the draft workbench allows me to move parts on the screen using snapping. It's a 2D drafting, but it allows you to do 3D work as well. And it has powerful snapping tools. We look up here, we've got the snap lock, which is on at the moment, it's depressed. And inside, the one that I'm looking for, the snap lock, is this one here, which is the snap center. So the tools allow me to move my object, say my binder, or even the placement of my body, into position and snap it to other objects. My working plane, as you can see, is set across the shape. This makes it easier when using the snapping. So I want to snap this circle to this part. If the working plane is, say, across this way, we can come up to utilities and then come down to select plane. And that will place it upon the plane that we selected. If I haven't selected a plane, utilities, come down to select plane. On the left hand side, it will ask me to set up the working plane. So I can use top, front, side, etc. So I want top. Click top, and now that's set to the top plane. Select that face, that plane, it will place it upon that plane there, upon the face plane. So now I've got the plane selected, I'm going to select the object that I want to move, which is the binder. Cut to modifications and move. So if I start hovering over this, you can see a pink dot will appear. Let's click on top. And if I hover over the edge, you see that dot straight away. So click once, and then we start to move it. And what will happen as we move it across, it will snap to center points of objects. So if I look around here, we can snap it to the center point of this object. You can see it's off center, see the pink dot. And if I hover over the bolt, there's the center point there. So we just click. So that's moved now into place. And if we look from the front, we can see the amendment we need to make. Because this is a binder, I can make this amendment without creating another binder. So all we do is come over to the pocket, double click on the sketch, and we can see the hole that's been created in there, which is wrong. So we can see that's off center. I'm going to view the section so I can see where it's going to be placed through there. Use the import geometry. Let's bring in the edge. So let's bring in the edge over here. So we've got this edge over here that will project it forward. And then it's exactly the same. We can either delete, change the reference, or resketch. Resketch it. Right click to cancel, and then I'm going to take this one and this one and make those equal. Just going to hit E on the keyboard to make those equal. Just the equal constraint. Let's hit close. And now that pocket is correct. We just need to hide the binder. Click on it and press the spacebar. And then obviously save the file. So that's another way of achieving the task. We've taken an external file as our reference, imported the binder, then used the binder to create the feature that we need. So I hope that's helped answer those questions for the Patreon, and I hope that's helped everybody else. Hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope to see you in the next one. If you like what you see and you want to donate to the channel, then you can do so via Ko-Fi or Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/MANG0, or via PayPal at paypal.com/paypalme/DarrenBEstone. I also run a Patreon where you can get early access and additional content, and that's at patreon.com/MangoJellySolutions. Links can be found in the channel header, on the About page, or in the descriptions of these videos. I thank everybody that's donated so far. It really helps to keep the lights on so I can produce more content and also expand the channel. Thank you for liking, commenting and subscribing to these videos, and I hope to see you again in the next one.